I'm really excited about the Golden State Valkyries' future, and I can't be the only one. Welcome in or welcome back, talking about the most valuable WNBA franchise in the entire league, the Golden State Valkyries. And I am certainly not surprised at that at all. Their business plan is very good. Their ownership group is very good. They're in a great market, and they got in at the right time. And they also know how to treat their players. Last year, it seemed like everybody had a career year, and they were also able to bring in a huge name in free agency, but we'll get there in a second. We have to talk about some of the departures before we get to the good stuff, and Carla Latti had a really solid season last year. It also just occurred to me while I was recording this video that in back-to-back years she was picked up in an expansion draft, which means that she has to be part of a very exclusive club if she isn't in there by herself. Now, she certainly wasn't very efficient last year, suffice it to say, but 7 points a game as a rookie is a lot to contribute. I'm interested to see how she'll do in Portland. Hopefully she has this freedom that she had in Golden State last year to be able to work through her mistakes, because I think she has the intangibles to be really good in this league. Someone else who I think had a really solid season last year for the Valkyries was Timmy Fogbonlé, and I hope the very best for her in Toronto. Because for a decade now, I feel like she has had the intangibles and the skill set and the tools to be very good in this league. It just hasn't really come together. Very solid season last year, 8 points a game, 5 rebounds. Nothing really else though, except she is very efficient. She's not a great defender despite her being 6'4". She isn't a great shooter, suffice it to say, 19% from 3 last year. So she has things to work on even this late into her career. And in the case of Portland and Toronto, I don't think they're going to have as successful as a season as the Valkyries did last year. So all of their players are going to be able to work through their mistakes. Someone who didn't leave in an expansion draft this year is Monique Billings, who is going to Indiana. I feel like she's going to have a really solid season there. Last year in Golden State, 7 points a game, 4 rebounds. Not as efficient as I would like her to be, but still pretty decent. What I think the Golden State Valkyries did really well last year was this power of friendship mentality. Everybody eats. They did sacrifice some role players, but what they got in return is even more valuable than that. Let's talk about some of the pieces that got us here, though. Veronica Burton cannot be underestimated in this league anymore. Most improved player last year, second team all defense, and top 10 in MVP voting. Nearly quadrupled her scoring effort last year with 12 points a game, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and a steal a game. An absolute demon on the defensive end, worked passing lanes really well, and was fantastic on the ball. All year long, the Valkyries had really solid guard play, and Tiffany Hayes also added to that. I only hand the timeless wonder moniker out to very select people, and Tiffany Hayes is definitely one of them. 12 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and shot 40% from 3 in year 13. She won 6th Player of the Year a couple years ago, and I think that she's going to be right back in contention for that award this year. Kayla Thornton's impact absolutely cannot be overstated either. She was an all-star last year, 14 points a game, 7 rebounds, and a steal a game. Now, I think with one of the additions that we'll get to in just a second, I don't think that she's going to be an all-star this year. However, she is going to be a very important piece to this team. I'm also expecting a really solid year from Janelle Salon this year. Last year, 12 points a game, 5 rebounds, and also shot 36% from 3 on like 5 attempts a game. This team, probably more than any other team in the league, has become positionless. They can guard multiple positions. They can switch on defense. They can play multiple positions. I really like what they have going on. But of course, the creme de la creme of this entire offseason is getting Gabby Williams away from Seattle and bringing her to the Bay. And at this point, even if you are a casual fan of the WNBA, you absolutely know who Gabby Williams is. An all-world defender. An all-star last year, first team all-defense, top 3 in defensive player of the year, and if you go by my ballot, she won the award. Outside of her incredible defense, 2.3 steals a game last year, by the way, she does a little bit of everything. 11.5 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, an incredible on-ball defender, and is going to make everybody in the league's life hell. So when you combine her defensive effort with the defensive effort of Veronica Burton and everybody else on this team, again, who can play positionless, that can guard multiple positions, can play multiple positions, this is going to be a really fun team to watch. I've said it a couple times throughout this series so far, I am an Atlanta Dream fan, but the Valkyries are going to be my League Pass team. Before we get to their season outlook, I do want to talk about their draft and how they handled things. And it isn't exactly unique, but it is a little peculiar because they waived absolutely everybody that they picked up this year, with the exception of Kokoro Tanaka. International guard out of Japan, has really solid FIBA, U19, U18 stats. If she came over, though, I think there's a really good chance that she would have also gotten waived. And I think that if you're new to the WNBA, say the last couple of years, you would be very shocked to hear that kind of news, that every single person that you drafted got waived. This is somewhat normal, because the reality of the situation is there are only so many spots in the WNBA. If you're not one of the top 160 basketball players on the planet, it's just not going to happen for you. I do very much like their chances, though. They made the right moves this offseason, and they're going to capitalize on the great season they had last year. Last year went 23-21, just snuck into the playoffs, and I have even higher aspirations for them this year. There's a very real scenario for them, at least in my opinion, that they can finish top 3 in the West and probably top 5 in the playoffs. They don't necessarily have the traditional star power like you see in Las Vegas, in New York, in Indiana even. But again, they are so good defensively, and all of their players can play in multiple positions. I think they're going to give a ton of people in the league so much trouble. And again, when you have this defensive nightmare duo in Veronica Burton and Gabby Williams, no one is safe in this league. And I don't know if it's going to be this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year, but I know eventually Golden State is going to bring a championship home. But what do you think? How do you think this team's going to do? And when do you think they're going to win their first championship? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, check my description. Got a link tree with all of my socials. Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube, obviously. And I also have a Discord community that I would love for you to be a part of. But that's going to do it for me today. Be kind. Tell somebody you love them. And I'll see you in the next one.
Barely scraping by. Trying to stop puffing. I'm trying to be one of the greats.